Welcome to the All Around Joe podcast, where we optimize your human performance from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. On this edition of the All Around Joe podcast, I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite stuff right now. So that includes gear, supplements, food, shoes, etc. I always like doing these podcasts because people ask me all the time about what I'm taking, what I'm doing, what's working. In fact, I just had someone recently dig back into the archives and ask me about a supplement I was taking way back when. So I thought I would refresh this. It's not necessarily the best for my SEO when I write this up on my blog, but it's fun to talk about, and I feel like people really enjoy getting into the stuff that's working, why I'm taking this type of stuff, and then applying it to their own lives. And I'm going to be able to give you some discounts on some of my favorite stuff. So that's always cool. Side note, I'm having some trouble on my website, which is not so fun. For some reason, I can't upload images. So if anybody knows any super duper WordPress awesome people that could come in quickly and not too expensively and fix up my site so I can stop getting this HTTP error. My hosting company is working on it, but they don't seem to be working on it very fast, which is kind of a bummer because I paid them a good amount of money. Anyway, enough about that. Hit me up, joe@allaroundjoe.com. If you have anybody that is awesome or you are awesome at doing that type of stuff, I would appreciate the heck out of you for it. Maybe we could do some sort of a trade for the Get Better project or some sort of online coaching. As you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, I am in the van right now. This is the Van podcast on my favorite stuff, and we're going to get right into it today. This podcast is brought to you by the Get Better Project, which is my high-end at-home online fitness program where you can do what I am doing. Basically, what happens is that you get to do the workouts that I am doing, whether you are going to be doing them just body weight with just a kettlebell and a couple of dumbbells or a full gym. I've set it up so there's 5 workouts that come out every single day based off of the workouts that I am physically doing, but I don't want to limit you if you don't have any equipment. You can get a great workout and we can work you up to the point where you might just need to have a couple of dumbbells and a kettlebell, and you can do all of the workouts in the comfort of your home, in your garage, in your driveway, outside of a van like where I am right now, outside of a van in Alaska. So if you want to try out the Get Better Project, head over to thegetbetterproject.com/getbetter. And I still have a couple spots left. If you use the code AllAroundJoe, you get yourself 50% off. So go ahead, jump on the train of the Get Better Project. I would love to have you. It's the exact stuff that I'm doing in order to get the great results that I've gotten in my life. So I'd love to share that with you. My goal is to help as many people as I possibly can. So use that code AllAroundJoe to get yourself 50% off. This is something that isn't going to happen all the time. I want to make sure and get people into the project, though, so I can help them out. This podcast is also brought to you by Meta. You can see my awesome Meta shirt here. Actually, it's my favorite color shirt that I have, so wearing it during the podcast. If you would like to have your body adapt with adaptogenic herbs, so basically, if you're overstressed, it will help bring you down. If you're feeling tired and sluggish, it will help bring you up. So it's basically something that you can use instead of drinking more coffee, and it will make you feel good. And it'll be better for your body, which is why I am associated with Meta. I love the idea of adaptogenic herbs, and I've been using Drink Meta, the cans of it, 1 to 2 cans a day for probably the last 6 months. So I had my adrenal glands completely shut down on me, and I got into adaptogenic herbs at that time. And then later on, Meta or drinkmeta.com popped up and asked me if I want to work with them. So I was like, heck yeah, I love what you guys are doing, and I would highly recommend it for anybody that feels like they're drinking too much caffeine, they're a hard charger, that just have a lot of stress in their life, and would like to make sure that they are being as healthy as possible. These adaptogenic herbs are the stuff. So if you'd like to try them out, go to drinkmeta.com, use the code AllAroundJoe to get yourself 10% off. And last but not least, Blonix, my favorite HMB plus creatine product. You can get 10% off of Blonix by going to Blonix.com using the code AllAroundJoe. I am stoked about this stuff. If I haven't told you before, I am an ambassador for them now. I love their products. I take their HMB plus creatine, their beta alanine, and I've been taking their egg white protein powder, which is so good. If you take some overnight oats that you've made with about 50% water, 50% oat milk, yep, oats on oats, and then you leave it in the fridge for about, I don't know, you'll probably need a few hours, but usually you can do it overnight or longer. And then you take a scoop of the chocolate milk flavored egg white Blonix protein powder and throw that in your overnight oats. Holy moly. Talk about the best overnight oats I've ever had. So it is delicious, chocolate milk-ish flavored, creamy, amazing overnight oats. And you can get all the Blonix stuff, like I said, 10% off by going to Blonix.com using code AllAroundJoe. All right, enough about the sponsors, guys. Let's get into this. Let's get into some of my favorite stuff, and you're going to hear about some of these sponsors potentially being in my favorite stuff here. So here we go. As I'm sitting in the van in Anchorage, Alaska, it just turned to fall, which is pretty crazy. Literally one day it went from summer, mid 70s to like 50 some degrees and fall, windy, blowy, trees or leaves are falling off the trees. Crazy. Yeah, I'm ready to get back into the sun because it's still August. So anyway, the first thing I have on my list here are drinks that I am calling my favorite right now. So my first thing on here, I already mentioned them, is the Meta Natural Awareness Beverage, guys. This is my first favorite drink. Like I said, I have 1 to 2 of them a day because it is very good for hard chargers, that people that want to work out hard, work hard, live hard, and still be recovering and not burning out their internal adrenals, all that fun stuff. I like Meta. It tastes great. I always forget to mention that. It tastes great. It's really nice to drink the stuff. And if you want to try it, go to drinkmeta.com and use code AllAroundJoe. My next favorite thing, because I still do love coffee, is cold brew. Yes, I love me some cold brew. My favorite cold brew is actually at Whole Foods, but it's not all Whole Foods, because Whole Foods actually has a barista or somebody working in their coffee/cafe department that determines what kind of coffee they're going to be serving for their particular drinks. And that will determine what the coffee is going to taste like. So it may not be my favorite when I go to one Whole Foods, but it might be at the other Whole Foods. So I find it pretty interesting, especially if you can talk to the cafe manager or barista there and see what they have said about why they're using that particular kind of coffee for their cold brew, or other coffees if you have other favorites. So you check that out. We also found these amazing cold brews from a company called the Kaladi Brothers up here in Anchorage. I don't think they are down in the lower 48 yet, but their cold brew comes in these little bottles that are awesome, recyclable bottles, and it is fantastic, super smooth cold brew. Lastly, I should mention that Starbucks cold brew is usually not too bad. I know most people are probably cringing like Starbucks, or maybe you like Starbucks. I don't know. Starbucks usually burns their coffee, and they do that because it's the only way they can get a real consistent coffee across all of their stores. So I understand why they do it, but it doesn't necessarily make the best coffee. That being said, if you're having cold brew, it's usually less acidic. So, which is why I like it a lot. It's my favorite because it has a less acidic taste. It's a smoother blend of coffee going down the old throat. And Starbucks does not have bad cold brew. I think it probably depends on how long they've been brewing it that determines whether or not it's good or not. But I would say that, 80% of the time it's a real good cold brew. So thumbs up for Starbucks. Go get that cold brew. Give it a shot. Gear. So those are my 2 drink choices that I've been throwing down, as well as water, guys. I throw down about 150 ounces of water a day. I highly recommend that you do that as well. And it's funny because whenever I recommend that, people actually come back to me and say, "Oh, I'm peeing all day. I can't believe it. There's way too much water for me." And I'm like, okay, well, what is the objective amount of pee that you're actually having to pee? And when I find out that it's not even like once an hour, it's ridiculous. So I pee probably at least once an hour. And when you are trying to continue to keep your body at its highest tip-top shape, that's about on par. So I know that it might be strange for you to have to pee that much, but it depends on how much you feel like you need. Try having the, like I said, 0.75 ounces per pound of ideal body weight. See how you feel. Also, do it for about a month and see if you're at first peeing way too much, and then your body starts to absorb the water a little bit better, and then you start peeing less. And take a look and see, like, what's the color of your pee? Is it just a very mild yellow, which is what it should be? Or is it darker and not at a time when you've just taken a bunch of B vitamins, of course? But, pay attention to that. Pay attention to how you feel. I would say that probably the number one thing that people come back to me with is once they've actually done this and consumed enough water, they'll come back and say, wow, I didn't realize how much better I feel, how much more energy I have, how much better I'm thinking since just drinking more water. I didn't realize it. It's the simple things a lot of times, guys. So make sure that you're drinking enough water, which equals a lot of water for most of you because you're probably not consuming enough. If there's caffeine in your beverage, it does not count as water. If there's sugar in your beverage, it does not count as water. We're talking about watery water here, just the water. Drink the water. All right. Gear. We're doing gear next. So some of my favorite gear that stands out right now are the Bear Complex 3-hole grips. These guys have been great for me. I'm actually on my second pair. A few weeks ago, I had a pair and they ripped right in half on my left hand. Never had that happen before. But luckily, I had a backup pair that I randomly had for some reason in the van, so I was able to pop those on and keep on rocking. I'm also trying to get my hands on a pair of Victory grips to review because I've never tried those. I really like the Bear Complex grips, but I've also heard that people like Victory grips better. So I'm going to give those a shot because I haven't done that before. I'm talking with them on my Instagram account right now. If you are with Victory Grips and you hear this, nudge, nudge, I'd like to give your grips a try and give you a review, video, written, all that fun stuff. Maybe a shout out on the podcast if I like them. And next up, the Whoop Strap. So I was a major promoter for the Whoop Strap, maybe like a year ago before they changed their affiliate program. So if you guys don't know this, the way that I make money on this podcast is by you using my affiliate code. Don't worry though, I would never promote anything that I don't love. And that is the 100% truth. In fact, when people send me free stuff, because people send me free stuff to review all the time, if I don't like it, if I can't say positive things about it, I don't even review it. I don't do reviews that are negative. I don't go down that path of the negative people that, the typical news situation. Screw that. It is so messed up. I think that news should not be able to be negative because it doesn't help anybody. It just takes us all down this terrible rabbit hole, and you should shut off the negativity from your life as well. You should never have your news sources give you negative information. It's just not worth it. It's never hardly ever going to affect you. Trust me, I have not watched the news, had news sources come to me or any of that for like 5 or more years, like a long time. And you'll notice that you're much happier just from taking that out of your life. But anyway, I was one of these top affiliates for the Whoop Strap, doing great, selling lots of them for them. And then they changed their affiliate program. So I went from actually making, hundreds to thousands of dollars a month with them to making zero money because they decided to change their plan, which is why I'm promoting the Get Better Project so much right now, because it's my own program. I love it. It's awesome. I can help people way more than if you just buy a tech product. I can change your life if that's what you need. But the Whoop Strap is a great tool. I have it on my wrist right now. I've been wearing it for probably like 3 years. They actually just came out with the Whoop Strap 3.0, which is a cool product that gives you all kinds of data. I love the sleep data that I get from my Whoop Strap. I love the strain data so I can see how my body has output. I love to have that data. Now, the one thing that I've heard as a criticism of people that wear the Whoop Strap is that they get stressed out if they get a red score that says they're not recovered and they feel good or they don't really know why. And my response to that is that it's just data. You shouldn't need to have a green, a yellow, or a red score to necessarily work out. It's just data. So if you know that you've trained 2 or 3 days in a row and you're feeling like trash and you didn't sleep very good and it gives you a score that is red, it's just more data telling you, hey, my HRV or heart rate variability is bad for that particular day, and maybe I actually shouldn't work out, right? And you get to make that choice on your own. But you have to set it aside as just data. I know a lot of people have this problem, so they'll be like, "Whoa, I just took a day off and I woke up this morning and I'm red, I'm not recovered, so now I'm feeling like I'm not going to have a great workout." Well, what I would say and what I do is it's just I look at it as just data. I'm like, I feel really good. I slept really hard. Maybe that was just maybe it's a fluke, maybe it's something that I'll think about it. And as I get into the workout, I'll take it easy and see how it goes. If it feels good, I'll crush it. I'll get after it hard. And if I get into the workout and it doesn't feel good, then I will just, maybe do an 80% day. And that's totally fine. I mean, when you look at these top athletes, what they're doing, they do a lot of this 80 to 90% days. They don't go 100% crush it, balls to the wall all the time. In fact, they probably only do that like once or twice a week, maybe. And they just get themselves in such good shape that they're never having to redline it out because it's really hard on your body when that happens. I've also found some little hacks or tricks from using the whoop strap. One of which is that if I walk let's say 5 to 10 miles in a day, my HRV score and recovery score and resting heart rate, which all these things that go into your recovery score, is better, significantly better actually. Like, it is a super hack for me. And I've talked to other people who have this walking hack as well, where if they walk on a consistent basis, they just have a higher HRV. In fact, when I was overseas, I walked and ran, some of it, as long as it's not super high intensity running, I think that it kind of goes into the same category. Some people may argue about that, but for me, I've had similar results. If I'm going on like an easy run, let's say I run for 5 miles that day and then I walk for 5 miles, I would still get the positive effects. The weird thing though is if I just run for 5 miles and I don't walk, then I don't get the effect. So there's something about the walking, but the running doesn't necessarily, take away from the walking. And when we were overseas, we almost did 400 miles in 35 days. And I had the highest ever HRV scores ever. Like, I've hardly ever seen my HRV over 100. And it was well over 100 for a lot of the time that we were over there. And so I wasn't sure if it was the food or the walking, and I've basically narrowed it down. I can't replicate the food, but I've been able to replicate the walking. So if there was some food, that was helping me out for that particular high HRV, I can't really tell, but the walking definitely helps. So the Whoop allows you to do little things like that, little tests to see if there's actually effects that are positively going to help your body. And that's so awesome. I mean, HRV is this amazing thing that you want to be high relative to you as much as possible. So if I know that I can go and walk and I can, just go on a nightly walk, it's great for my brain. It's great for my HRV. It's great when you go out and walk with some friends because you can have great conversations. You can get out in nature. It is awesome. So I wouldn't have known that without the Whoop strap. Highly recommend it. Right now they have it where you get a monthly subscription and you can, if your strap breaks or whatnot, they'll replace it and you just, will pay either monthly or you pay for a year at a time or 6 months at a time. You can use the code allaroundjoe if you guys are going to sign up for a Whoop strap. Use the code allaroundjoe and it should give you a free month or some dollar amount off. If it doesn't, let me know so I can contact them. Like I said, I haven't been pumping them very much, but I should have the code allaroundjoe working if you guys want to try it out. Next up, the Garmin Fenix 5S Plus is what I have on my wrist right now. It would be really nice, and I actually contacted Whoop about this, if I could have my Whoop strap data come from my Garmin so that I only had to wear one device. I would still pay Whoop for it. I would totally do that. The problem is the Whoop strap takes in way more data than the Garmin does. So what I use the Garmin for is the GPS functionality. Because I'm doing so much running and hiking on a regular basis, it's really nice to be able to keep track of how far I've gone, how much I've done. And in turn, this particular device has topo maps on it, which are fan-freaking-tastic. So if you the region that you live in comes with those topo maps already installed. You can be out on a hike or a run in the middle of the woods and feel like you're getting lost. You pop over to the topo map screen and it shows you where you are, how far away from where you started, how far away from, the trail that you came in on. It's fantastic. The only downside to this watch is the battery life. So I bought this particular watch because of the size. It's the smallest version. I don't like having a big old watch on my wrist. And it still doesn't look all that small. See, it's not that small if you're looking at, or if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. It's not that small, but it's the smallest one that they have. Because of the size, it took away from the battery life. And I should mention that the battery life went down also because they decided to add the music functionality and the Garmin Pay or whatever it's called to the watch. I don't know about you, but I'm going to have my phone with me. And if I want to listen to music, I'm going to plug that in while I'm out running or hiking to listen to music. I am not going to use this music functionality through Bluetooth on my wrist, nor am I going to go and want to pay for things from my wrist. I will just use my credit card or my Apple Pay on my phone. So I guess it could be thought of as a backup, but I have never used it, and I don't plan on being in the middle of the woods doing either of those particular things. So I wish that Garmin would have just not had those things added and kept the battery life strong. So I can get right now about a little bit more than 7 hours of GPS time on this watch and about 7 days of non-GPS time just sitting on my wrist, which is way better than Apple Watch, but not as good as the larger Garmin. So the larger size of the Garmins, if you get bigger ones, they have bigger batteries and they last longer. So if you don't care about having a huge watch face, then you might want to go with that. Or if you're going to be running some really long ultra marathons or ultra marathons in general, you might want to do that. So what I'm doing is I put a battery pack in my running pack, a battery pack in my running pack, my hydration pack. And then when my Garmin is going to die, I will just plug it in. I'll take it off my wrist, which will stop the heart rate data. It's kind of unfortunate, but it charges very fast. I haven't actually gone from 0 to hero on the charge to time that, but it's a lot faster than my iPhone or some of the other gadgets that I have for charging. So you could probably take it off, charge it for half an hour, pop it right back on, and you've gone, and kept your GPS rocking and stayed safe out and about. So that's what I do if I'm going to be out for longer than 7 hours. But it's a great device. I highly recommend it. The other reason that I got this over some of the other things that were out there is Garmin has a functionality so that you can program interval workouts, which other watches don't or are not clear about how well those particular things work. So Garmin does a really good job on this, especially if you're a CrossFitter and you're doing like custom interval workouts or you're doing the Chris Hinshaw training program. You can go in and put in the exact rest times, the exact paces that you're trying to have, and have that all loaded in so that when you go out for your run, you just hit start. And you could be running not on a track, but like out in the neighborhood and doing the exact workouts that you should be based off of the high quality GPS on the Garmin watches. It's the best out there for that, bar none, as far as I can tell. So if you have any questions about that, hit me up because I did study this stuff and look into it a lot. Socks, guys. Socks is my next thing up here. I am loving the Balega Hidden Comfort socks. Now, I've tried a lot of different kinds of socks in my day. The Hidden Comfort socks, not only are they the most comfortable, they're the most durable. I've had pairs of these for over a year, and they still feel just about like new. Just about, maybe like 80% like new, which is way better than most other socks that you're wearing a lot. So the Balega Hidden, Belega Hidden Comfort socks are fantastic for running, for CrossFit, for just lounging around. They are really good socks. I had to mention those because they are my favorite right now. Shoes. A lot of people like shoes. Shoes are fun. I recently got a pair of the Nike Metcon Freeze, the first edition. And the reason I went with the first edition is because they just had better reviews than the second edition. And they were on sale. Not that that really mattered because I think I could have got the second edition for pretty darn close to the same price as the first edition. But I have loved these shoes. They're fantastic, super comfortable. I had a pair of Nike Freeze that I got at an outlet years ago. And I wore those things into the ground to the point where I wore them for 2 separate Ironman events. and the soles of them like actually tore out it was during one of the races, my second or final Ironman event. It was really wet out, and the sole just tore out, and I actually had to tear it out and throw it in the garbage as I was running because it was bunching up in my shoe. But they were the most comfortable shoes that I had had. And I've bought another pair of Nike Frees that I use for road running as well. So I had a couple of friends that told me to try these Nike Metcon Frees, and they are really good, really, really good if you have a lot of running, or even I tested them on double unders today, and they were so good with double unders. I hit 200 unbroken double unders. I felt like it could have just kept on going and going. So those were fantastic. I have friends also that have the second edition, and they really like those. But maybe I'll try those down the road. These shoes probably are not great for rope climbing. I'm not even going to try them for rope climbing because I'm worried about it ripping up the top and like discoloring the shoe, which if you do a lot of rope climbs, you can pretty much expect that to happen. So make sure you choose what shoes you're going to use rope climbs on, unless you're just dropping down or doing legless rope climbs and dropping without your shoes actually touching the rope, which I have not mastered that one yet. Maybe once I get back into the competitive side of CrossFit, I will do it. But if you have a heavy amount of running in your CrossFit workouts, these are my favorite shoes for CrossFit/running. The next up is Reebok Nano 8s. Okay, so this was the last edition of the Reebok Nanos. These are my favorite all-around CrossFit shoes, bar none. Not great for running, though. So I think in an ideal world, you have a couple different pairs of shoes. There's not going to be one shoe that's going to be good for everything. But these shoes would be my choice if I was going to have a barbell workout, a barbell Metcon. These shoes are great. All right. And I've tried on all of the shoes. I haven't had a pair of them. I actually was going to buy the Nike 4s and or 5s, tried them on, didn't like them at all. They were way too narrow in the toe box for me. Your feet should be designed to spread out. Your toes should spread out. If nothing more than just a little bit of spread out. They shouldn't be confined and pushed in like you're wearing a high heel. So if it feels that way, and maybe some people have narrow feet and their toes can still spread out in those shoes, but it's not ideal. You're not going to get your foot really gripping the ground the way that it should. And although the Nike Metcons 4s and 5s look outrageous, they look outrageous in a good way. I really like the way they look, and I get advertised to them. I'm like, man, I should just buy a pair because they look really cool. But they are so tight on my toes, and I don't have the widest feet ever. So, man, I can imagine a lot of people are just like confining their toes in the toe box of these Nike Metcon 4s and 5s. I should also mention that the Nike Metcon Frees have a bigger, wider toe box. So those are much more comfortable than the regular Metcon 4s and 5s. Back to the Reebok Nano 8, they're just a great shoe, has a nice big toe box. I can put them on, hardly have to tie them if I'm going to wear them around. They're just a fantastic CrossFit shoe, and they do look good too. So I'll give them that. They are good looking shoe. Maybe not quite as good as the regular Metcon, but good looking shoe nonetheless. And the Reebok Nano 9, also good, but even more so of a CrossFit shoe, less of a running shoe. So that's why I'd go with the 8 if you want to be a little bit more versatile. But if you're going to have multiple shoes, maybe you go with the CrossFit or the Reebok Nano 9 and a Nike Metcon Free and have those in your bag. And maybe you have some lifters too. I'm not using lifters at all right now, but maybe you do that. And then you have the threefer, and you can get all of your bases covered. There's a running workout with double unders. You can use the Nike Metcon Free. If it's just a barbell workout with rope climbs or something, you're going to use your Reebok Nano 8s. And if it is a lifting only workout, or you're just doing some only lifts, then you can wear your lifters. There you go. Perfect. You just need a bag for all those shoes and you'll be good to go. All right, let's get into the supplements. Here we go, supplements. And just as a side note, I'll move on to that later. Supplements. So I mentioned earlier, my favorite creatine product is a Blahnik HMB plus creatine. My favorite, and you can use the code allaroundjoe at blahniks.com to get yourself 10% off. Highly recommend that. It's worth the extra money if you have it to get this higher quality product than other creatine products out there. Perfect Amino by Body Health. This is a fantastic product, and I'm finally seeing a lot of people start to take this product. The tricky thing about it is for it to work its best, you want to take it on an empty stomach, meaning you have not had protein or fat for 2 hours before you take it. So if you're going to have it pre-workout, which is the ideal situation, let's say you work out at 12 noon on your lunch break, you would have eaten at 10 and you had not eaten until you're going to have to eat after your workout. So you would have your perfect aminos right at 12 or a little bit after that. And then you would eat something after your workout. Okay. Or let's say you like to have food a little bit earlier than that. Like a lot of times I've been having a protein bar or something like that about an hour before my workout. If I do that, then I will have the perfect aminos 2 hours or a little bit longer after that, after my workout. Okay. And then the tricky thing that you have to consider is that you cannot consume protein or fat for 23 minutes after taking the perfect aminos. It's going to mess with the digestion, guys. You're not going to get the ideal absorption of these things. But if you hit it right, then you're going to notice that you're less sore, you recover faster. These things are the things. This is the stuff right here. So you can go and get yourself some perfect aminos. Use, again, the code allaroundjoe will get you 10% off on these guys. Fantastic product. I recommend getting the big bottle. I recommend looking for sales and stocking up on them whenever you can. And use the code allaroundjoe and ask me if you have any questions about this timing thing. I know that I say it a lot, but a lot of people still will mess it up and they'll come to me and they'll be like, yeah, I didn't really do that. I'm like, well, did you have it on it? Oh, no, I didn't. I'm like, well, that's the case. You're just going to load yourself with some extra aminos, which is cool, but you're not going to get that supercharged recovery in your muscles. So Perfect Amino by Body Health. Check it out. Use the code allaroundjoe. It's simply the best recovery product that I know of. The Blonix Beta Alanine. Again, high quality product will make your face tingle a little bit, but you want to test this stuff, go do a hard air bike or assault air bike workout. One of those ones that you know is just going to kick your butt. Try doing that, testing it, and then take the Blonix, a beta alanine for a few days or a week or so, and then go back and test that workout again. There's this really weird thing that happens to me where I get to the point where I feel like I should be fatiguing, and I can just continue going for, I don't know the exact amount of time, but I can definitely go harder, longer when I'm taking this particular product. And you kind of have to get into it for yourself, but there's definitely something that's going on where my kind of like hard endurance type pieces get easier. So another good thing would be like wall balls, like you go out and throw wall balls. And that helps with it as well. The grass-fed whey protein isolate and colostrum by PNP supplements is fantastic for coffee. I've used a couple of bottles of this now. Actually, I think I've gone through 3 bottles of it. If you get the banana creme or cream, however you want to say it, it is fantastic in your coffee. It doesn't taste like bananas. It tastes creamy. I know that it says bananas on it, and I cannot taste the bananas. I've talked to several other people that have been using this product and also like it in their coffee. So I'm not that crazy. I think that maybe they should have just called it creme or something, left the banana out of there. So people would buy it and put it in their coffee. But this is fantastic stuff. You can go to phpsupplements.com. You could, I think All Around Joe will give you like 15% off on this one. So a little bit more of a discount on that one. So if you're looking for a coffee additive, that's the product that I would use. If you're looking for a CBD product, anybody that I talk to that has trouble with sleep, I recommend this CBD product to them. It is the High Falls Extract CBD. Unfortunately, I do not have a discount code for you on this stuff, but it is very good stuff. In fact, I should take some right now. I've noticed that in order for you to sleep better, you should take this thing mid-afternoon rather than right before you go to sleep. When I take it right before I go to sleep, I find that it's harder for me to get up in the morning. So I'll feel groggy like as I'm supposed to be waking up. But if I take it about, let's say, between 3 and 4 o'clock, I find that I go to sleep quickly. I sleep really, really hard, and I don't wake up feeling tired. I just conk out. So this CBD oil, high quality CBD oil, has been the best thing that I've noticed for sleep. And it also helps for these nagging little inflammation injuries. So I hadn't been taking the CBD oil for a while. I had this really nagging injury inflammation in my elbow here from doing some pull-ups on a playground without warming up. And it stuck with me for like 6 months. Then I started taking the CBD oil again, and that was the only, and it went away. But I'd been trying to do like all kinds of other rehab on it, and it just wasn't going away. The CBD oil helped with it. And it's really hard because it's so smooth as far as how things happen. It's like you won't take it and notice it right away. You might have to take it for a few weeks, and you're like, I think that was what did the trick. So there's a lot of cool stuff about CBD oil. Look it up. I like high falls extracts, and give it a shot, especially if you're having trouble sleep. Guys, sleep is so important. You need that sleep. You need it. Don't let that stop you. Don't let the lack of sleep continue. Get on top of that right now. Try CBD. It can help. Food. So I'm going to get into food on this one. Food. Anything organic, guys. You should be buying organic all the time. Organic is the way to go because it is the only way that you can certify that you're getting what you should be without what you don't want in your products. So buy organic if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, source your products. Don't get them at just the regular grocery store. Go to like the farmers markets and things like that, or to the farms directly. Buy your products there. Ask questions. Make sure that they're not using pesticides or growth hormones or any of that other junk that they shouldn't be using or shouldn't be allowed to use in their products. Eat a lot of kale, spinach, and wheatgrass. I blend this stuff up, drink it down almost every single day. It's great. If you haven't seen my green shake videos, green shakes are where it's at. Put some protein powder in there, some oat milk, as many greens as I can stuff in my NutriBullet Pro, which is NutriBullet Pro is the one that you should buy because it has higher RPMs and will cut up that fibrous material. I will throw in basically whatever I think will be healthy for me, greens, carrots. We'll put in like chia seeds, put in hemp seeds, all kinds of stuff. It's fantastic. Drink it down, especially if you're going to have a salad. It would be like, a huge bowl-sized salad. If you like doing that, I just would rather drink it down. And make sure you chew it as you're drinking it because that will help the digestion of those particular things. So chew it down. Perfect bars, man. I have started just loving Perfect bars, mostly because they are very simple. Like, exactly what you're getting. Not a lot of protein bars out there have only ingredients you can understand. It's a little bit pain in the butt and you have to refrigerate them, or you should refrigerate them. But I found that I really love these bars. I found that I feel really good when I eat them, and there are very just tasty stuff. So Perfect bars, you can get them at Trader Joe's for like $2 a piece, which is close to the lowest that I found them for quality flavors. Or I just realized, and somebody told me you could get them at Costco for $20 for 12 bars. So that's a great deal. The flavors are not the best for those though, but check those out. Maybe someone from Perfect Bar can be listening to this podcast and they can have better flavors going into their Costco Perfect bars. They probably just need to sell the ones that are not their best flavors. I don't know. But Perfect bars, those are good stuff. But you will find them all the way up to like $4 a bar. So make sure that you're figuring out where to buy those because you shouldn't be paying that much for them. All right. Last but not least, just staying away from processed things. Boxes, things that you can't, ingredients you can't understand. All of that stuff is super important, guys. Stay away from those things. A couple of things that I just thought of that I should be mentioning. RPM speed ropes, guys. Love those things for double unders. They're so much better than anything else that I've used before. Like I said, today, had a double under workout. Did 200 of them in a row. Felt like I could just continue going on and on and on. The downside is that their cables do break regularly, so make sure that you buy a few extra cables, but they are worth it. I have their regular rope and I have their heavy rope. The heavy rope, the cable's a little bit more durable because there's some plastic around it. We use those in the parking lots, and when we're traveling a lot, they're a great durable rope, and it's cool to use the heavy rope when you have that available. King Kong bags are fantastic if you're looking at hauling around your stuff. They actually just came out with a new bag, which looks pretty cool. I don't have my hands on it yet, But it is a very cool looking bag that has a shoe compartment, has a bunch of extra space that you can get into with a clamshell opening. Good stuff there. I'm not sure about the water bottle compartments. Like I said, I have not checked it out, but the other King Kong bags have fantastic water bottle compartments. Highly recommend that you check those guys out. Lululemon's pretty much great for everything. I have Lululemon shirts, pants, shorts. Those are my favorite types of training gear, definitely. And I think that is about it. So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, you need any discount codes, hit me up, let me know, put it in the show notes at allaroundjoe.com/210, or shoot me an email. I'd be happy to get those discount codes to you. If you have any products that you think that I should try because they are just awesome, hit me up as well. I would love to know what those are. I will contact the vendor, see if I can do some reviews on them. And then they will end up in my favorite things podcast in the future. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it ended up being a little bit long-winded, but these are fun things to talk about. I hope that you got something out of it and you can put it into your routine and help you to get better today, this week, this month, this year, in your lifetime. And that brings me to make sure that you check out the Get Better Project if you would like to have daily programming at home, whether it be with zero equipment, whether it be with just a couple dumbbells and a kettlebell, or if you want the whole shebang competitors program, you get access to all of it at the Get Better Project.com/get better. And we have a couple of slots left. If you go to All Around Joe to get yourself 50% off of the monthly membership. And you can be doing what I'm doing. You get me as your personal coach. You can ask me questions at any time and work on your diet. We'll work on your intensity. We'll work on your getting those gains for you. So let me know if you have any questions about that. Check out Blonix. Use the code AllAroundJoe if you want to get yourself the best creatine, H&B on the market. And if you're a hard charger, go to drinkmeta.com. Order yourself a case of Meta and use the code AllAroundJoe. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I know that I had fun talking about it, and I will talk to you soon. The All Around Joe podcast, where we optimize your human performance from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. I will see you on the next podcast.